What were you doing when you were 18 years old? What were you doing your senior year of high school? You might have been talking with your friends about how to make a difference and change the world. You might have had some interesting conversations about that. Maybe you even volunteered for a project here or there. Did you create a startup that was also a nonprofit? Did you give a TED Talk, raise a bunch of money, learn all kinds of techniques for how to build houses in a sustainable way? Did you talk and figure out how to provide housing for homeless people? I didn't do any of that when I was 18. And I thought I was a good boy. Brennan Stark is a remarkable young man who grew up in this congregation, became bar mitzvah in this congregation. We know his family well. And the work he is doing is amazing and impressive, and is work that we should all be getting behind. So I asked him to speak this evening, so I'm going to ask him to come forward and share his to our audience.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you for the introduction, Rabbi. It's going to be hard to follow up. But as I mentioned, my name is Brennan. If you don't know me, I'm a freshman at the University of Delaware. I also had my bar mitzvah here in 2011. I remember when I had my bar mitzvah, the thing that made me the most nervous was giving the sermon on Saturday afternoon. And I remember after I finished, I vowed I would never voluntarily do anything like that again. Suffice it to say, I failed. It's fitting that this week's core portion is Bereshit, the story of creation, because what I'm really here to talk about is creating. When I was in February 2016, my lifelong best friend, his name is Steve, and I were sitting in his basement on the couch, and I asked Steve a question. I said, "Hey Steve, if you arrived on Earth today, and there were no buildings, and there was nothing on Earth except for nature, what would you build, and why?" Now that was a very crazy question, especially for a couple of 16-year-old guys, but Steve and I are very much crazy people, and we like answering questions like that. We actually ended up spending about 3 hours that day just brainstorming answers to this question. The goal was really just to start from nothing and to forget everything we knew about the way that we did things. And this all ended up culminating in this idealistic vision, this philosophy of natural building, which is basically just the idea of how you could use locally sourced, cost-effective materials to create super affordable, environmentally friendly buildings. So we were two 16-year-old guys, and we had this idealistic grand vision of how to build things, and we had absolutely no idea how to build anything at all. And so what we did at the time, we said, why don't we give it a shot? What do we have to lose? And we started a nonprofit. We started Y Innovations in April of 2016 with the goal of using natural building techniques to create affordable and environmentally friendly housing for those in need. Now, I said that I was here to talk about creating, and you might be thinking I'm talking about creating buildings. You would be right. We did start Y Innovations to build more sustainable buildings, but primarily we started it to help people and to help them build more sustainable lives. You see, our theory was that if you use materials that were better for the earth, you could actually build buildings that were more affordable and better for the people that were living in them. So to make a long story short, we spent about a year and a half researching all these natural building techniques. We traveled to Ohio, to Michigan, even to Denmark this past summer to learn from the experts in this industry and to see all of these crazy, amazing ways of building. And we ended up watching videos, we read books, we cold called architects and engineers and got meetings with some of them. And we ended up building 3 different test prototype structures with varying levels of success. And we learned a lot along the way. And about 6 months ago, we came back to Wilmington. And we started working with some local architects and engineers and creating building plans for a 700 square foot straw bale home that we're going to be building this spring, in Wilmington through a partnership with Family Promise for a homeless family. Now, from our research, we decided on this construction technique called straw bale construction. Now, the really cool thing about straw bales is that they're super, super insulative. And when you design a wall system with them, it yields a wall system that is super energy efficient. It actually has insulation R values around R32, which is about twice of what you get in your traditional wall system in this climate. They're also super cost effective. We source them locally from a farm about 15 miles away, and they cost about $4 a bale. We use 200 in a 700 square foot building. And the entire wall system ends up costing about $1,000, including all the surfacing. So it's good for the environment, but it's good for the people living in the home too. Beyond the straw, we also use something called a natural rubble trench foundation, something they use in pole barn construction. It helps us to reduce the amount of concrete that we use by about 80%. It also saves costs. We also use something called passive solar design. So it's basically a way of designing the building such that it maximizes heat gain from the sun. So again, good for the environment. You're reducing your energy costs, but you're also reducing your economic energy bills. We combine that with something called an air source heat pump. Basically, the way it functions is it uses electricity, and it'll suck the heat energy out of the air, heat energy that already exists in the air outside the home, and then it pumps it back into the home. It's a process that can actually be reversed, so you can suck heat energy from the air inside the home and pump it back out and turn it into a cool pump. So we do all of that, and we pair that with electric, low-energy appliances and solar panels on the roof, and we've been able to design a completely net zero, energy-independent building, all powered by solar panels. It means that the homeowner essentially has no electric bill. And all told, the total cost of developing this home are going to be about $40,000, which allows us to finance it to a family through a Federal Housing Association mortgage such that they have a monthly mortgage payment of $250. Now, I like talking about the construction stuff. I don't want you to get me wrong. I do fashion myself somewhat of a guy who likes to get his hands dirty as much as my mom will tell you that's not the case. But what really gets me passionate and what I really want to talk about is what this construction stuff allows us to do for people that need more affordable housing. When we were purchasing the property where we're going to be building this first house in March, it's over on 29th and Jefferson Street. It's about 5 blocks from here. If anyone's ever in the neighborhood and is curious. But when we were purchasing it, Steve and I went door to door in the couple blocks surrounding the neighborhood. It's just your traditional due diligence that you do, trying to understand the profile of the community and tell them about the project and make sure that there weren't any concerns. Now, fortunately, with only a couple exceptions, people were very enthusiastic about the project and they really liked what we were doing. But there was one woman who stood out. At the time, she actually lived at the property right next to the one that we ended up buying where we're going to be building this house. Her name was Tanya, and within about a minute of talking with Tanya, she invited me into her home, which of course I thought was a very kind gesture. We had been talking about issues she had been facing, and she wanted to show me around, show me firsthand. Now, she started showing me around, I realized there was a problem. She was showing me rotting floorboards, exposed electrical wiring, a kitchen that was completely unfinished. And she was telling me that she feared for not only her own safety, but also the safety of her 2-month-old son, she was living with along with her boyfriend. Now, as bad as that sounds, that actually wasn't Tanya's biggest problem. See, I met Tanya on Friday, and Tanya told me she was actually facing eviction from this house on a Monday, on the next Monday. Tanya and her boyfriend were renting the property for $900 a month. Her boyfriend worked at the auto dealer who made about $2,000 a month, which means that Tanya's family was spending almost half of their income just on their rent. Now, the Department of Housing and Development advises that individuals and families should not be spending more than 30% of their income on housing, otherwise it's not sustainably affordable. When you start getting up to that 50% mark, things fall through the cracks. You can't afford your transportation, or your health insurance, or if your car breaks down, maybe you're not paying your rent that month. And Tanya and her boyfriend were actually 3 months behind on their rent at this point. Now, Tanya did unfortunately end up having to leave the property on Jefferson Street. She's now on her own with her son, looking for friends to let her stay on their couch with her son until she can find a new place to call home. I asked Tanya how much she could afford for housing for a month, and she told me about $500 if she stretched it. I asked her if she could find anywhere for that price, and she said no. Now, unfortunately, Tanya's story, while sad, it's not at all uncommon. Carolyn Gordon, the executive director of Northern Newcastle County Family Promise, tells me it's basically the same story she hears from the 100 or so families that she works with every year. 25% of families in Wilmington live in poverty, with average monthly incomes below $2,000, so even worse off than Tanya. And yet, the average two-bedroom apartment in the city of Wilmington costs $1,000 a month to rent. There's this huge need for housing that costs between $300 and $500 a month, and yet there's none. That's really the goal of this project is to create a housing model that works for the poorest 25% among us. This project's really about helping people to help themselves and ensuring that if people are working hard, they can access safe, affordable housing. A simple place, nothing fancy, just somewhere to call home, raise the kids. I think we all fall into the trap, myself included, of thinking that when someone's experiencing homelessness that there's something they're doing wrong. Or maybe they're just not working hard enough. I know that I've fallen victim to doing that before. I go to I visit Sunday breakfast mission fairly often, and the last time I was there a few weeks ago, the Reverend Layman introduced me to a couple of gentlemen who went to my alma mater, Archmere Academy, and they were experiencing homelessness. And Archmere is a pretty good school, and it did. I admit it. I didn't expect to see people that had graduated Archmere in this situation. It was really a wake-up call for me. But homelessness is something that people experience. It's a condition people experience for all sorts of reasons. It's not as simple. It's not as simple as just poor people or people with drug problems. So I try to avoid using the word homeless to describe people. Because when you talk to people like Tanya, you realize just how badly they want it. People, they want a place to raise their families. They want to have a stable job. They want to do well. Tanya actually right now, she's looking for someone to take care of her son, watch her son during the day so that she can go back to work. She's willing to sacrifice those precious first few months with her son because she realizes he needs a safe, decent place to grow up. So it's not about a lack of motivation. People want to work hard. They want to have hope. They want to be able to dream for a better future. We just need to meet them halfway, and we need to make sure that the housing model works for the poorest among us. If you have a paycheck, whether it's from a minimum wage job or whether it's from a bank on Wall Street, you should be able to have a place where you can call home. And we also need to show people that the community has their back, that we want them to succeed. I think that the community aspect of this project has the potential to be one of the coolest parts about it. We have a lead builder. We have 6 licensed subcontractors that are going to be doing a lot of the work on the building, but for a good portion of it, we're going to be relying on community volunteers, just like Habitat for Humanity. I think that's going to be a really good opportunity to show just how much the community really is behind this. So just to sum up briefly where we are, we're starting construction in March on Jefferson Street of this first home. I'll definitely be reaching out for volunteers then. Look forward to seeing many of you in your hard hats and construction gear. But for now, we've raised 15 of the $40,000 in cash that we need to build this home. Obviously, any financial support that anyone can provide goes a long way, but even just visiting our website, our Facebook page, liking and sharing it, that all goes a long way in spreading the word. We have a bunch of flyers outside by the donate table that have more information about how to get involved. One of the cute little fundraisers we're actually doing right now is called the Buy a Bale campaign. It's kind of think like buy a brick, but with straw bales. There's 200 that go into the home for $50. We're allowing people to adopt their own bales and get a personalized adoption certificate, perfect for framing at home or at work, depending on where you work. Rabbi got his. So there's more information about that out there if you're interested in that. And I'll be around at the opening, of course, and I'd love to talk to as many of you as possible. If you want to ask questions or just tell me I'm crazy, either one of those works. Finally, I want to say that it's really, really easy, especially the way that things are going in our country and in the world right now, to think that change happens independent of us. Change is something that happens to us rather than something that we do. We're an increasingly globalized world. Technological advancement is progressing faster and faster, and it's easy to feel like we are powerless. But I would argue that now more than ever, we have the ability and indeed the responsibility to get involved on a local level and help our communities to reflect the ideals that we want reflected on the larger level. When on the political campaign circuit, you hear words like hope and opportunity and fairness just thrown around. We tend to become numb to them and forget just how big of words they are. When you reflect a little bit on what those words mean for your local community, those are big, powerful words that have the potential to create a lot of impact. So I would invite you for a few minutes today to reflect on what those words, hope, opportunity, fairness, and any others. Of course, there's many others that you might think of for your community. Reflect a little on what those mean on the micro level of this community in terms of Beth Emeth and also the larger city of Wilmington, and what are the things that need to get done for you to feel like Wilmington's a community that supports the ideals that you embrace. For me, I think one of the fundamental things is that everyone has a safe place to call home. That's what this project is going for. So that's all I've got, so thank you and good shots.